Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl BD.
Should go 4 ends.
And we're back with another episode today.
Lockdown edition. Quarantine.
Lockdown
Quarantine.
edition. Speaking of quarantine, actually, we are doing an Instagram Live on Thursday.
Ooh.
The Thursday of which you hear this. So Thursday, 23rd of April, we are going to be on Instagram Live discussing Tiger King.
Yep.
At 7 p.m.
Carol Baskin.
That bitch Carol Baskin. So, just make sure you tune in then. If you have any questions about Tiger King, the live, then you can, message us beforehand, and then we can address it on the live, which is going to be on Thursday.
Yeah,
so
and you can also,
on the Monday.
Yeah, you can also, message us on, Twitter as well. Very active there.
Yes. What are we drinking today? Are you drinking anything today?
Water. H2O.
Well, the quarantine's got to me, so I am having gin and lemonade.
Is that what's been in that thing?
Yeah, that's what's in my cup. Look, this is the gin. It's really cute.
Oh.
It's pink marshmallow flavour. It's really nice.
Is it yummy?
Yes. Quite delightful, yeah, it is. Even by itself. But
where did you get it from?
Slight buzz. What's one of them department stores? It was either a Debenhams or one of them big thingies. I got it time ago.
Oh, I will be purchasing. Sounds like it's right up my alley.
What documentary are we doing today?
We are doing When Men Love Dolls. Silicone sex.
A little bit of silicone sex.
Well, there wasn't really a lot of sex though, was there?
No, there wasn't. It was just implied sex.
Yeah. To be honest, all in all, the documentary was quite dry.
Yeah, I thought
but
so
the
too.
subject matter made it interesting. I
think the title was the most interesting thing about it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. What's that song Beyonce song where she's like, "You ready, big fella"? Was that Beyonce? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, so this documentary is wild in the onset. From the onset? No, I wouldn't say from, because it doesn't progressively get wild, but it's wild because it opens up with this very average looking, middle-aged guy, decent,
just any British guy,
you'd see him in your local Tesco's, in a decently sized garden. And I must say this because it's the UK, we don't tend to have those, and he's brushing the blonde hair of what looks like a mannequin and setting her out on a lawn chair. And unprovoked, he just says, and he has his arm around her as he says this.
I know that Sarah is manufactured from steel and TPE plastic, but when I look at her, I see something more than the sum of her past.
But when I look at her, I see something more than the sum of her past. Sir, what does that even mean, the sum of her past?
No, the sum of her parts.
Oh, I thought son. See, this is the problem with YouTube
more than
captions.
The sum of her parts. I mean, it's a common phrase.
No, the sum of her past is, but son isn't. And I was reading...
Sum of her parts. Yeah, that is a common phrase. Yeah, if I saw son of her past, I'd be like, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that's why but this is the guy that plays with dolls, so anything could have been being said.
Anything goes.
Exactly.
Yeah, anything goes.
So, homeboy starts moving around an array of dolls of all shades, ethnicities.
He does not discriminate.
And sizes. He's open. He forever.
Equal opportunities employer.
Fam, forever. And he says he's moved on from real girlfriends to synthetic ones and is creating
as if it's an upgrade.
That's what I was about to say. It should be the other way around. Would you not move on from synthetic, if you ever had that phase, to real girlfriends?
No, but then I feel like if you are at the phase of synthetic, then it's probably because you couldn't get a real girlfriend, so that's not going to enable you to get a real girlfriend.
Yeah, we did have... They do discuss a bit about why people have synthetic sex, or silicone sex. So he says he's creating a synthetic family, and I'm like, police, please, I'd like to report a crime.
My neighbor
is playing with dolls. So we meet our narrator now, and I really don't like him. I don't know how to explain this.
I don't know why he's American. It's so random.
Yes, it's so random. I was literally...
Are you telling me there's no one in America who uses sex dolls? Come on, we didn't have to come all the way here.
Fam. Or there's no one in UK that could have narrated it even better.
Exactly. Either or.
Literally, it was just very mismatched. And not only is he American, I just don't like when narrators sound too narratorish. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it. Like,
No, it's very like put on and very
yeah,
like,
it's very like
okay,
you are listening
read
to a
this, start from the
documentary.
top. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't like his voice at all. Anyway, so he introduces us properly to this chap, and he tells us that his name is Dean Bevan, and he's 48 years old.
58.
And 58, sorry, 58 years old. And Dean's walking through the house, and he's greeting all his dolls, like the way you'd greet all your family members, like, oh, hi, Sarah, hi, Bianca, whatever. But we learned that Sarah is that's his main companion. Sis is
That's his main chick.
Literally, that's his main chick. The rest are sides. So it's kind of like she's the chief wife, and the rest of them are like the lesser wives. Yeah. And she's a sex doll, basically, which we already knew at this point. But yeah, he reiterates.
Everything in this house bar him is a sex doll.
Yes, literally. He's the only living thing. Maybe some rats. So Dean tells us he's been divorced for over 10 years. And his kids weren't really about, like, after his divorce because they've spent a lot of time with his wife. So he...
Yeah, and also they have, like, things to do.
Yeah.
But they have lives to live.
But then, from what I understand, he divorced when they were quite young. So they were still at the age where they should have been encouraged to spend time with their dad. And maybe if they had been, he wouldn't have these dolls. Who knows? But...
Boy.
Anyways, so he only ordered, and I was really surprised about this, he only ordered Sarah 2 years ago. Because the way he's so deep into this, I would have just assumed that he like had been into dolls.
This
for, like,
had been, yeah.
Yeah.
But I suppose it doesn't take long for you to like become not obsessed, but deeply rooted in
this world,
doll culture.
Yeah, I suppose.
Can we describe Sarah? For the people?
Sarah,
because don't waste your time watching this,
yeah.
honestly.
Okay, I described Sarah as... You've never seen anybody that looks like this. She looks like...
Any human being
other than Pamela Anderson. Sarah looks like if somebody...
but like Silicone.
Yes. Sarah looks like if somebody not really great with plastics had decided to make a sex doll of Pamela Anderson. That's exactly...
Yeah, it's like they tried to make... It's like their Madame Tussauds models. Like they tried to make Pamela Anderson, but the budget was low, so the material's not quite skin-like.
Yep.
The eyes not quite giving you a glisten.
And they had like a hazy picture of Pamela to go off of. That's what Sarah looks like. But we will be posting pictures of Sarah on our Instagram, just so you...
We're actually calling her Sarah. Like she's a... Just so sorry to all the Sarahs out there, all the human women Sarahs out there. We apologise.
We apologise. So Dean has 7 dolls in total. We don't learn all their names, but one of them's called Sophia, and she's the one with massive tits. He says that she has quite a melancholy like look, and she's quite thoughtful. He's starting to like attribute personalities to these things. Okay, deep it. And then also he has like a black one. I didn't really understand what he was the message was trying to convey when he introduced us.
He was basically trying to say that he wanted diversity in his dolls.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not racist. I've got a black sex doll.
Oh, yeah. So now we're in Germany, which is the most travel we will be doing for a while because of Rona. So it was good to take that trip.
I'm laughing, but I'm crying inside.
I'm crying inside. I should have been, like, getting ready to be in Dubai. Like, what is this? So we're at the manufacturers and distributors headquarters in Europe. And we see this weird guy, like he's just standing there with his hands in his pocket, and he's amongst like the dolls. And the way to explain how the dolls are like positioned, it's like when you go to a meat market or it's like a meat, but whatever, and they have, you know how they have the dolls on like the meat on like hooks, yeah. That's what the dolls were, and it was really creepy because they were headless as well.
It's like in body parts as well.
Yeah, like they were headless. And he was just
because we found out that you can like customize the dolls.
Yeah.
So it's not like, so you have loads of different body types, and the bodies are kind of like hanging there, and then you have the heads which are like on shelves separately, and they have different eye colors, different face shapes, different like
sold
you
separately.
Can legit, it's like build a woman,
literally.
Build a doll.
It's like build a bear, like, but
yeah,
a silicone sex doll. So we're introduced to him, and his name is Manfred Shorland. And we learned that he sells about 2,000 dolls a year, mainly to men, which I wasn't really surprised about.
It just made me think, like, oh, the fact that he said mainly to men means that women do buy them. But then when we meet the other women next time, I was like, oh, not next time, later on, I was like, oh, okay, cool, I hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that women are using the dolls.
But there are some like sex dolls for women. So they're
just dildos.
No, these are like full body men, like men dolls with the penis.
Oh, mad thing.
Yeah.
That just seems like a whole lot of work.
I was watching a documentary and she actually had sex with it and then she came back and reviewed it, which I found really weird.
So what
does it look like?
No, but as in, like, what is there to review? Because you clearly chose everything about the doll. So what?
I don't know if she chose it. She just
like what are your complaints going to be? All the complaints that you have with sex with men, none of those things can apply to a doll. So
it's even probably going to be worse because you can't even tell the doll, do this, do that, do that. I feel like there's more to having sex with a woman than there is for a man to having sex with a woman. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, why would I want a male sex doll? Like, do you know what I mean?
Like, to what end?
Yeah, to what ends? Like, I don't get it. So he says, yeah, like 2,000 mainly to men, and they cost anything between 1,000 to 2,000 euros. These dolls don't look lifelike to me at all.
That's not that expensive.
1,000
It's expensive considering how rubbish they are, but it's not that expensive when you consider that he's got 7 of them. He's gonna have them for life. Like, if you think about a real woman, like, you will spend 2,000 within a year or maybe a bit more.
That's why they don't think about real women.
That's what I'm saying. So the price tag being so low, in my opinion, is just like, oh, look at this cheaper alternative to a real woman.
I guess.
That's less than a Chanel bag. Men are buying women Chanel bags all the time.
And still paying for dinner and shit. Yeah, that is kind of crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because I never thought about it that way. I just thought to myself, you spent you bought a Mac, you spent the equivalent of a MacBook on this doll. That's going to sit in your house and look at you. But I guess when you think about it's going to
sit in the house and look at you. But for him, it's someone to brush their hair, someone to spend time
it's a lifelong
with, and then
companion.
to actually have sex with, quote unquote, sex.
It's crazy. This is crazy. He says, like, the thing with the sex dolls is you don't have to prove anything to a sex doll. There's no pressure on a man. Customers want to watch a match, drink a beer, and then have sex.
And this is my problem. This is my problem with these dolls, is that, like, it just removes any accountability that, like, a man should have to a woman.
Yep.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like saying, like, oh, okay, women, they just... It's just stress. Do you know what I mean? If you just want to get rid of the stress and the emotions, and you don't want any of that. Like, if you want it to solely be about sex, then cool, get a sex doll. But then also, even with the sex doll, it's not really just about sex, because Dean is, like, brushing their hair at the beginning, and we find out he dresses them and stuff, and it's just kind of like, okay, so it's mainly about control then.
Literally.
No real woman is going to be like, oh yeah, put my clothes on for me.
And we learn a bit about that later on. So we also learn that men have different reasons for ordering these dolls. Some of them are unable to get girls, some of them are disabled, and some, but the main thing is the dolls are a substitute to a human partner. Like, that's what it is. Like,
they might, like, not be able to commit, they might be unlucky in love, like loads of different things that you would just think, okay, cool, like, sort that shit out and get on with it.
But they're like,
but
no,
dolls provide a reason for them to not have to work for their shit.
Instead of working on it, like, no, like, I'm gonna get a doll. Okay, so we're back with Dean.
Each his own, boy.
Fam. So we're back with Dean now, back in London, loving this travel. And he tells us
there are certain human attributes that I projected onto her. The key one is clearly vulnerability.
This is when he speaks about the dependency. So he says that for Sarah,
she relies on him to do everything.
He was like, she relies on him.
She is an inanimate object.
Fam.
Are you going to say the plate loves you because it really needs you to keep it clean?
Fam. So you see him, like, carrying her up, like, these stairs, like his new bride, to his room, panting, as he does so. And then
58B.
Did you clock that he had bare fans in his house? Like, it was weird. His house was very cluttered. Maybe he's a
sweater.
His house was very cluttered. So he carries her up the stairs, sits her down, and then he opens this wardrobe, and they have a larger wardrobe than him. So there's skirts, there's tops, there's a lot of underwear.
And a lot of ugly clothes.
And he just talks about how he changes them, how he puts clothes on for them. And obviously, because Sarah's one he spends the most time with, he does this the most. So for him, like, the personality he puts on her is that vulnerable, like, save me kind of person, damsel in distress. So Dean says,
I think for men, quite often, it's physical. So we're pre-programmed biologically to respond to certain things.
And he says he responds to her face. And he says he has dreams about her and felt like she was real in these dreams. And I just hate this bullshit.
Wake up, nigga.
Sleep time's over. Nap time's over. No, what's that thing? Latif, fuck your nap. Fuck your nap. And for me, I have issues with whenever people start to say men are biologically this and pre-programmed.
Did you think
You're
God only made you?
fucking not. Like, stop this shit. It's like when guys say that, oh, like, men aren't meant to be monogamous because look at the animal kingdom. Shut the fuck up. Okay.
And you know what? It's the difference between saying men are not meant to this and saying people are not meant to be monogamous. Because you think that, oh, women are supposed to be there to one man. Maybe all of us are not meant to be monogamous then, if that's what it is. Maybe all of us are biologically programmed to want to have sex with everyone. But some of us can be like, oh, yeah, cool. Maybe not right now. Oh, yeah, cool. I've made other commitment. Like, I don't know why you're
and we're not
blame
animals.
science.
We're more intelligent.
We have a whole decision-making pathway.
Fam. So I don't understand. And I don't think men are pre-programmed to biologically respond to certain things. The same way men respond to breast and bum is the same way women respond to like cock and like a nice chest and a beard. Like it's not it's not rocket science. Like we find things attractive. Like obviously I'm speaking in a heterosexual term. If you're like LGBT, then
you're attracted to what you're attracted to.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But either way, the assets of the person you're attracted to makes you attracted to them. Whether,
it's
do you know what I mean?
nothing to do with men being pre-programmed. Like it's this justification for why he's designed this like doll. It's nothing to do with that. So shut the fuck up. Next. So it gets a bit juicy here because he's saying that he's never like been out with his dolls, but he wants to change that. And we kind of learned that this guy is a loner, and I think now it's starting to make sense. Not even make sense, because in my head I was like, you can't be all with it, but now it's like, oh, that clicking moment of like, yeah, I get it. So he basically kayaks a lot, and he does that alone. Like kayaking is the kind of sport you do alone anyways.
Not necessarily.
Well, I guess you could go kayaking. I mean,
you can. It can go either way. Like if you found someone, he could definitely do that with her.
Yeah, but yeah, he's not gonna. And he basically says like people always kind of find him weird because he goes out of his way to do things that he has to do alone. He doesn't like spending time with people, and he prefers to be in his own kind of like space. And he's been divorced. His marriage lasted 3 years. That's the mother of his 2 kids. And then he had 2 or 3 relationships after that, and he's been single for 3 years. And they just didn't work out, and he feels like at his age it's difficult, so he just does his thing, hence the dolls.
But I think that there's a little bit of like self-sabotage here going on, because I feel like he's had a rough time. Obviously divorces can be really, really hard and hard to recover from, and like he's managed to do that and date people, and then that still hasn't worked out. Now he's delved into the world of dolls, but now it's like with every doll he gets, he's stepping further and further away from reality, the possibility of a real relationship, because he could meet somebody and be like, oh yeah, cool, we really get along. Is he really going to throw away the £14,000 he spent on his 7 dolls and throw away the dolls? Do you get what I mean? And then if it doesn't work out with that woman, it's going to be like, oh no, I don't even have my dolls. Yeah. So it's like he's self-sabotaging. Like,
but then I also
the
like
deeper he gets into this, the less likely
he is to come out.
Exactly.
Like, I just feel also though that he might be on the spectrum. Like I don't want to diagnose anyone, but
you said the same thing about the guy last week, but you never said why.
The guy last week,
the flat Earth guy.
I feel like because when like he has awkward
people
social
doing weird things doesn't make them on the spectrum.
No, I'm not saying that it automatically does, but I feel like with Mark, like when you see him interact, he has very weird social interactions. Like they're not. He doesn't relate normally, and with this guy as well.
I just think he's a weird guy. This guy, I think this guy. This is the product of him being hurt and scared to like try again, because he's been married, he's had relationships.
Everyone's hurt.
Do you get what I mean?
Everyone gets hurt. We don't go buy dolls. If I bought a doll for every time a man broke my heart, I'd have 10, 15 even.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is the fact that he's been able to forge such relationships and be hurt from relationships means that like he was able to do those things. Do you get what I mean? That may be the reason why now he kind of stays away from people.
Fuck love.
Everyone's like, oh, everyone's like, he's a loner. There's like fuck love and like let me fuck everyone, and then there's fuck love and like let me just fuck dolls.
So he's catching dolls instead of feelings. Okay, cool.
Yeah, man, catch dolls, not feelings.
I'm dead. So again, we've gone through Heathrow now, and we're back in Germany, and these Germans are really horny because we meet Evelyn Schwartz, and her eyebrows. Very key element, her eyebrows. And she opened the first German sex brothel. They have 13 dolls.
Sex doll brothel.
Oh yeah, sex doll brothel. And they have 13 dolls, and it costs 80 euros per hour, and the brothel is always busy. So Evelyn says they come here full of sexual desires. There are certain advantages. You don't have to worry about the other person's emotions, and there is no pressure to perform like I have to satisfy her to get my own satisfaction. This is why men cannot make women come, because this mentality continues to be allowed. Like, it's so annoying. Like, what do you mean I don't have to satisfy her to get my own satisfaction? Yes, you do. And these dolls are so problematic, because now you just expect women to lay there and take your shit like sex, and as long as you get yours, like.
But this is the thing, the owner's talking about it like it benefits men, like, oh, you know, they feel more comfortable because they don't have pressure, blah, blah, blah. But also you as the owner, it benefits you. You're not worried about anyone calling you sick. You're not worried about anyone getting pregnant. You're not worried about anyone quitting their job. Like, once you bought the doll is there. So from now to thy kingdom come, you can be using the same 13 dolls if you like.
Fam.
So everyone here is winning. Do you know what I mean?
Except for her, who is perpetrating patriarchy. But hey. So back to Dean in Ipswich, and his daughter is coming to visit. And her name's Rihanna, or I think it's Rion, but
her name's Rihanna.
Rihanna, yeah. So her name's Rihanna, and she comes to visit, and she actually knows about the dolls, which I was more surprised by the fact that she was part of the documentary, not that she knew. I would have thought that his family knew, and they kind of like ostracized him. And to be honest, I was happy that wasn't the case, because like,
it's not a reason to not speak to your dad.
Oh,
like,
speak
honestly.
to yourself.
If your dad has sex dolls, you wouldn't speak to him.
Yeah,
you would stop speaking to him.
Yeah. Your
dad is a single man. For me,
and
I feel
you
like
go
it's
to his
very
house
strange.
And there are dolls everywhere, and he
there's something to me. There's something wrong with that, but that doesn't mean that I don't love my dad anymore.
Yeah, you can love from afar. To me. Jesus said, love your neighbour. Is it every neighbour that you go and speak to?
When it's your neighbour, your dad's your neighbour. Okay, man. I think you're moving mad. If God forbid your parents got divorced, and you found out your dad has sex dolls, I don't believe that you would stop talking to him.
I can't. I don't think I can wrap my head around it. I'm sorry. I really can't. Because it speaks so much to his character as well.
Yeah.
And how he views women.
Support it, and I'd be doing, hey, bring Sarah around for lunch. No. But I wouldn't drop my dad out. I wouldn't speak to him as much, most likely. But I would still speak to him. Why not? It's my dad.
So when I say I wouldn't speak to him, I don't mean that, oh my gosh, like, I'd never say anything to him, but...
I thought you would, like, drop him out.
No, like, I probably wouldn't, like, go to his house, that's for one, because I don't want to see that shit. I probably would, like, maybe birthday, Christmas, Merry Christmas, like, happy birthday, but we're not going to be cool. Like, we're not going to be, like, how we are now.
I would talk to him, but it would be as though that part of his life didn't exist. And so he might be uncomfortable, because I can't imagine being really close with someone that just doesn't accept a certain part of my life. Do you get what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, there's only so close you can be with someone who you have to kind of be like, oh yeah, we're cool, but let me not mention this. Do you get what I mean? Anyway, my dad's not going to be doing up sex dolls, so this
amen to that. So she comes this day, because this is Rihanna, she comes to meet his new sex doll called Astrid.
This is what we wouldn't be doing.
Exactly. This is what I ain't going to do. It's a
new model, so the material's better.
It's a new material, so she's softer, and her nose is like soft and everything. And he spent a bit more extra money on this one.
Come on, Dean.
And listen, let me tell you something, if your dad's going to be doing all of this, let me not ask you for money and you're telling me you don't have money.
And you tell me no, honestly.
Fam, don't ever. Because not only are you buying
$2 grand,
dolls, you're literally like outfits, wardrobes. Let me not ask you for money and you tell me you don't have money.
Because it's not just the dolls that he's bought. It's all the clothes for the dolls.
Fam. So anyways,
they all have different personalities, so they probably all have different styles.
So, fam, literally taking them and we'll get into that.
So I'm not gonna lie, my brother and I were really negative about it. We didn't like them. I didn't like them at all. I found it creepy. I found it a bit misogynistic as well.
And she said, like, you don't want to be the person whose dad does this, and it's true. Like, if someone says to me, like, I wouldn't want my dad to be the one who does that. Someone else has to deal with this shit, not me. Dean basically just starts showing his daughter, like, the photography he does of these dolls. And it's really creepy because some of them are very suggestive. And it's kind of like...
It's shit photography. Like, even if it was women in this picture, it's shit photography.
It's very shit. It's extremely shit.
First of all,
sir. But it's really weird because a lot of these pictures are very suggestive, and it's kind of like, it's like, imagine your dad had a girlfriend and then he's showing you pictures of her in underwear and lingerie. You're like, where do we go from here? Like, what do I say to you? Like, it's weird. And so she's kind of trying to nip him in the bud and be like, yeah, this picture is a bit too much. This is this and that, which is, I guess, good. And then he says, like, to prevent coming across as, like, objectifying women, he often listens to the advice of his daughter. So I died at this bit because we go back to the brothel and the cleaner comes in to clean, and we see the doll, like, lying on the bed in this really awkward position. It's, like, at the edge of the bed on its side.
Guys.
And its legs are, like, open to the side and
askew,
and, like, the knickers are by its ankle. And it's just business as usual for her, which it is. And I was just like, wow, like, the guy can, like, if it was me and I did this, I know that if you come to, like, a brothel for, like, sex dolls, everyone knows what you're coming to do, it is what it is. But I'd still be so embarrassed that I'd, like, dress her up after. Like, I wouldn't just leave her there for someone else to find her, but whatever. So the cleaner says when a customer leaves, she has to inspect the doll, see if it needs a shower, or if a cleaning agent and a wipe will do. So she's looking at this doll and she's like, yeah, the customer's been really gentle, so she just needs wipes. And she's funny because there's this point where you see her sticking the wipes in its throat, like in its mouth.
Do you know what? When she says, like, to see if it just needs a wipe or if it needs a shower, I'm just like, none of these options seem intensive enough.
It needs like a steam clean.
Options seem like it's gonna do the job it needs to do. Like, but boy, I guess if you're having sex with dolls, you're not really thinking
cleanliness,
STDs and that. Yeah.
Fam. So yeah, like I was saying, there's this bit that's really funny because she's sticking, like, the wipe in the doll's mouth, and, like, she's putting it, like, in.
She's
screening. She's cleaning it.
She is.
And yeah, she says, like, sometimes, like, she comes in and, like, the dolls are in really crazy positions and she's just like, okay, like, what the hell were you doing in here, like, with this thing? But yeah, like, it's just, she said she'd rather be doing this than washing plates. Like, she finds that disgusting. Like, this is
I
just
was confused.
bodily fluids. I was literally confused. I'd rather be...
But I guess they're probably using condoms. So that's probably why she doesn't feel like it's that deep.
Well, she did say it's just bodily fluids, but it's probably saliva.
Oh, so,
I guess a
yeah.
lot of saliva. I'd rather be washing shepherd's pie off a plate than cleaning off somebody's saliva and semen, but hey.
Yep, just me.
Just me. Just my humble opinion. So back in Ipswich now with Dean, and today's the day that he's venturing outside with his doll. And he's chosen Athena, which I found strange, because I thought he'd go with Sarah. Sarah's his main, like, wife, but okay.
Yeah, but he probably would be upset if someone said something mean about Sarah, so he probably wanted to protect her.
He wants to protect her. Yeah, it's true. So... he takes her to a photo shoot on the beach, and nobody really says anything. Nobody says anything. Like, the camera tries to, like,
it's
do
Britain.
this thing.
I don't know why he was trying to act like this is the UK.
He was trying, like,
everyone minds their business.
Literally, he was trying. Like, the camera did this thing where, like, it looked like people looking over, but I don't even think they were.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you saw a guy, if I was walking and I saw a guy taking a picture of a doll, I would think, oh, he's working on a project. Like, the last thing that would cross my mind is, like, this is his companion, his life companion.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, to be honest. That
and
was
also, like, he was
hype.
in a park and you're probably far away just seeing, like, a being and another being taking a picture of the first being. Like, it's not that deep.
Yeah, literally.
And also, mind your business.
Mind your business. So we learned that, like, Athena can't be out for too long because of the sun. So he hurries
and
up.
because she's not a human and she's not composed of skin and tissue.
So she'll start
will
to
melt.
Like, literally lose shape. So he hurries up, takes the pictures, and then they drive back home. So we're nearing the end of the doc right now, and Dean is watching TV with his dolls, Sarah, and he's talking to her. And then we see in America that they're working on a sex robot called Harmony. And we've seen this in another doc, but I don't know if you remember it. The first ever doc we watched about, like, men and dolls, she came up in it. Harmony came up, and they've been working on her for ages. Because I remember, like, her accent is Scottish, and apparently Scottish is the sexiest accent. Like, it was voted the sexiest accent, so that's why they made her accent Scottish. I did not understand that.
I like the Scottish accent.
I like it too, but I don't know.
I like the Scottish accent.
That wouldn't be my accent of choice for a sexual partner.
What would be your accent of choice?
For a sexual partner?
Mm-hmm.
I think Italian or Spanish.
Really?
Yeah, or...
No, I just like when guys sound like they're from London.
No,
Either
No.
South London or East London or New York.
I was
Them
just
three?
about to say
Calm.
New York, or I like Atlanta.
No, the Atlantans, they don't enunciate.
I like it.
They talk like it, man. They don't.
No,
they don't
that's
enunciate.
That's okay.
That's
That's
how they
deep.
speak.
That's deep.
Music.
Atlanta.
That's how they speak.
Let's talk about scrappy, but some of them don't sound that bad. Some of them don't sound that country.
There's degrees to every accent.
They have a twang.
Okay, so you want a twang of Atlanta? Okay, fair.
Yeah, but New York is
New
also
York any
good.
day,
New York
way.
is like, when you think of New York, you're like, ooh,
Come on,
daddy,
coffee.
pappy. So yeah. So basically they're making this doll, and she is a bit more than a sex doll because she's actually a sex robot. She will respond, she'll talk to you. I remember, okay, so this wasn't in this doc, but I remember it from that doc that we watched. And they talk about like how they're working on making her genital areas self-lubricating. So like with these sex dolls currently, and this is what I found kind of like annoying. Like if you're going to talk about sex dolls, let's talk about sex dolls. There wasn't a lot of talk about sex in this doll. Like in this documentary, we never really find out if Dean has sex with these dolls. Obviously,
No,
we
we do.
know
He does. He has had sex with it.
Does he say that?
They mention it briefly. I think it was like implied.
I think they said he has
being a moment.
I think they said he has an intimate relationship with the dolls, and then like he goes on to talk
He
about
said
the
something like,
emotional.
I am intimate.
Oh, does he? Okay, cool. I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't really a lot about the sex, and this is the premise of this. Whatever. I didn't care about the manufacturing. The brothel was great.
No, but I think that what they were trying to do was show, because sex doll, obviously sex is involved, that's implied. I think they were trying to show that like there's more than just sex. Like guys aren't just having these dolls to have sex with them. Guys are actually using these dolls as companions, and therefore we shouldn't look down on them.
Still gonna look down. So either way, they're creating this sex robot, but she'll have artificial intelligence. And so Dean's really, really happy about this. He's like, he can't wait for this. And the projection is by 2050, like sex robots will be really, really common. Like most people would have either had a sexual encounter with a sex robot or would have known or will be in a relationship with a sex robot or know somebody who is. So Dean's like, yeah, he'll be really happy. Like imagine Sarah coming to life. She might decide to leave, and if she does, he'll respect her decision. And he tried to convince her. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, Dean? Like,
But you
Dean,
see what I mean? That's like the PTSD of being left. Like his wife probably asked him for a divorce. Those 3 relationships he had probably left him. Do you get what I mean? So he's probably thinking like, this is a doll that I've purchased. She can't leave me.
Yeah.
And she needs me because I
me.
wash her every day and I whatever.
Yeah. So that was pretty much the end of the documentary. Obviously, scary times, knowing that in how many years there'll be sex robots and people having sex with robots and weddings with humans. This is a Futurama episode, but yeah.
Do you remember a documentary? I don't remember what the documentary is called. I don't know if it was The Paedophile Next Door or if it was like a sex doll documentary, but the whole topic of sex dolls was coming up. And I remember them saying something about like people think sex dolls are like weird and everything, but imagine if they could do sex dolls for like people with like sexual like urges that they can't really act out. So they were like, with pedophiles, like if they made a child sex doll and the pedophile had it's crazy, and the pedophile had sex with the child sex doll, then that is mad and that is wild, but that is not a real child. So it's like, okay, maybe it satisfies that urge without them actually having to go out and hurt a real child. Because I remember the paedophile next door saying that he's never actually done anything with a child, so he says, but he has the urge to do it, and it's him having the urge that makes him a paedophile.
It's such a tough one because like I remember watching that paedophile next door and I thought to myself, as much as like I despise these people and I think they're the lowest of the low, you hear people that are like, I know I have this affliction or this issue, I've never acted on it, and I hate myself for even having those thoughts. Yeah. And in those moments you feel bad for them because you're like, rah, like you at least like it's not like these crazy ones that go out and they do all these things, murder these kids, do all like ruin children's lives, but these ones actually don't even want to. So I don't know, it's a tough one, but
and then it's like, what can you even do? Do you get what I mean? Like, what can you do?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, but I still just don't feel like it would be enough. It's kind of like saying if we had sex dolls, rapists wouldn't, like if rapists were given sex dolls would, but we know a lot more about rape and we know it's more about power. So
Yeah.
would those dolls be enough for these?
It wouldn't. It would just be like another step to the escalation of
Yeah,
it.
because you remember that Stacey Dooley documentary we watched? I don't know if I watched it with you, but I'm sure you've watched every documentary I've watched. But she went to like Japan and she was exploring the like Harajuku young girls attraction, and there was this guy
No, I haven't seen
that
it.
had like, I'll send it to you. There's this guy that had like a sex doll. It was called Sex in Japan, or it's paedophilia in Japan, because
I've seen a Sex Japan documentary, but it's not this.
their age of consent is really low there apparently. And like basically he was just like, yeah, how he has this doll that he has sex with, he touches it, does all that thing, but all this thing, but he still wants to escalate to a real person. Like, it's not this is like he's starting up and he's building his confidence to go to a real child. And he was showing his face on TV and everything. It was crazy. But
that's mad.
Yeah, I don't think it would be enough at all. They'd still want the real McCoy. Like, it's
true.
It's scary. So yeah, that was Silicone Sex. Men Who Love
guys,
Dolls.
don't bother watching this.
I don't know why it was called Men Who Love Dolls, because we only met one man, but okay.
Yeah, it's true. We need to stop with these YouTube documentaries, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think this was YouTube. Do you think it was YouTube? I think it was like just a doc that landed on YouTube.
Yeah, landed on YouTube.
Oh, I thought you meant like
when it gets to YouTube, like it's had its day.
No, but this is like, yeah, it was boring, but the subject matter was
like
interesting.
whatever.
I just we knew we would have stuff to talk about with it, but if it was just the documentary itself, I'd have stopped watching it. Like,
that would have asked for my time back.
Yeah. So, what are we doing next, BD?
Next, we are doing Long Shot, which is a Netflix documentary, which I have seen like twice already. And I really, really love it.
Okay.
I really love it.
I'm yet to watch it, but I'm sure I'll love it. If you like it, I love it.
Oh, come on, girl. I want to see if I can find a trailer, and I'll play that for you at the end.
Yes.
In the meantime, follow us on Instagram at 2girls1doc, Twitter at 2girls1doc, and Facebook at 2girls1doc. That's the number 2 and the number 1.
Yes.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Miss BD.
And you can find me on Instagram, 4ends with 2 underscores, and Twitter, 4ends with 1 underscore. Guys, we are going live on Thursday talking about Tiger King, Carol Baskin. And Joe Exotic with his 2 husbands.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Guys, let us know if you have any questions that you want us to address. And can I also say the questions don't have to be strictly about like Tiger King. This is the first time we've done like anything live, so you might just have questions about us and like how we started and all that good stuff. We'll answer those as well. And yeah, we know that Tory Lanez has stopped with his quarantine radio, so here's some
quarantine.
So we're giving you guys some content to keep you going in this lockdown. All right, guys. Peace out.
Here's a trailer for Long Shot, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Ground ball up the middle. I love baseball. I can't say that enough. Every time I'm there, I soak it all in. But I wasn't supposed to be at that game. Was like any other day, but as soon as I opened the door, I was completely surrounded, like SWAT style. My daughter, she looks up and she says, "Dad." I told him, "I'm gonna get you out of here." I asked him, "Do you remember where you were?" I was at the Dodgers game. I gotta find the holy grail of Juan's defense. I need to place my client at Dodger Stadium on that night. Juan remembered they may have been filming something there that day.
The episode was that I picked up a hooker in the carpool lane and took her to Dodger Stadium.
We were in for an enormous fight. The prosecutor they assigned to the case had never lost. She liked to pick off people with the death penalty. I looked at tape after tape.
We shot in 2 sections in Dodger Stadium.
There's 56,000 people at this game. How could you possibly be on camera?
I wasn't supposed to be at that game, and that would play in my head over and over. I looked for eyewitnesses in the tickets. I could not afford to miss anything. The kids wanted to know when I was coming home, and I didn't have an answer.